Hey everyone, this is Hemal Patel, and in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about the perfect lifetime of your Facebook ad. And what that means is basically I'm going to go through the process of thinking of an idea for the ad for yourself or somebody you're creating an ad for, and then the process that I take to take that and add some social proof to it, and then basically turn it into an ad for conversions, and then make it even more profitable by turning it into an ad purely for traffic. That was a summary of it, so I'm going to kind of go into details about what it is, and I'm actually going to provide you a graphic right here. I made a very quick graphic. Don't take it for more than it is. That's a very quick 5-minute sketch of it, but it'd be very powerful. I would recommend you download that. I'm going to provide a link on the bottom of this video for you to download that picture, and you can just use as a reference for your future campaign setup. And I'm going to actually leave that up for right now. So actually, real quickly, back to here. There are different objectives you can see right here on Facebook that are popular. I'm going to be teaching you mostly about lead generation, whether it's for e-commerce or, with e-commerce you're actually getting a purchase. But my main goal every time is to get leads to your website. So the biggest things that I use are the traffic, conversion right here, and engagement. So just note those three for this video right here. And you can see step number one is the idea of creating the campaign, planning everything out, what it is you're trying to sell. I don't need to go too much into detail on that because everyone's idea will be a little different, but just know that you always want to get things done on paper before you put things on the Facebook ad builder or ad campaign setup. You always want to draw things out on paper first, whatever the campaign is, what your purpose for that is, who you're trying to target, all that kind of stuff. Get it on paper first before you put it on the computer, okay? So once you have a campaign ready to go, you're going to go ahead and create the campaign and everything. But before you do that, just always remember my process so that before you start everything, you will have a plan for success before you move forward on everything. So I'm going to make something up. Let's just say I have this brand new red book that I bought, right? And let's just say I'm trying to sell this book online, even though I don't do e-commerce. Let's just say I'm going to do that. The first thing that I will want to do is create a campaign for this book. Let's just say it's a magic book. And I'm going to create a PPE campaign, which is the engagement campaign, which is right here. So it's post per engagement campaign. And the reason I want to do that is to build social proof. Very affordably, I can spend just a little bit of money and have people liking the ad. I can have people sharing the ad. I can have people commenting on the ad, and that will build social proof for it. And in a future video, I'll actually show you how you can take that PPE campaign that you just built with maybe, let's just say I got 50 comments on this, 100 likes, and 12 shares on this red book, this red magic book. I will then create another campaign, and I'll create that one for conversion so I can actually sell this red book, but I'll transfer over all that PPE data, all that social proof that I got from the past campaign, and I'll actually be able to transfer it over into a new ad and create that one for conversion so I can actually sell it. And in a separate video, I'll actually teach you how you can take that information from one ad and transfer it over. So you're creating a new ad for conversions, but you're bringing over all over that. You're bringing all that social proof over to that new ad. So of course, number three is conversions. You're going to optimize it for when I'm, because I'm selling this magic red book, I'm going to optimize it for purchases. And you're going to do it for, again, always $5 per day, run it for a few days, get maybe a purchase or two, and let Facebook actually figure out who bought the book and let them run away and figure out who else can benefit from this book and bring those people to your website so that you can make more sales, right? So the biggest problem that I've seen in the past always with people that I work with, people who do coaching with, is that even if you're spending $5 a day and you give it a week, you make no sales or whatnot, you need to really give it time for Facebook to use its algorithm and get the right customer for you. So don't be discouraged right away that you don't get much momentum. If you do get clicks and they're not working out, give it a little bit of time, give it at least a week or so, because in the end, my goal with this red book is to get a customer and then hopefully get that customer to buy a purple book and whatever else book there is. So know that if I'm spending $5 per click, $2 per click, or whatever per conversion to sell this book, and this book costs $10, and I'm not making money right away, at least I'm giving that Facebook pixel enough data to let it know that somebody did buy this book. even though I'm not profitable or I'm just barely breaking even, go find more people who are ready to buy that book. And then within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'm going to start making money and going over that break even level. So that's a note on the conversions one. That right here, that objective right here is a really big problem for a lot of people that I work with because it gets expensive. I'll give you a real life example. So with PPE, I've had clicks and likes and comments and all that stuff for as low as 10 to 30 cents per engagement. When it comes to conversions, I was trying to create leads for my own self, and I was spending about $12 per not even conversion. What was happening was it was charging me for people who were actually just engaging with the ad but not actually converting. I'll get into more of that later on, but even though I had 0 conversions on a daily basis, I was getting charged $10 to $12. My budget was $20 per day, just because my ad was being exposed to people. So regardless, I was still being charged, no conversions, and that really was discouraging. But I went through the process, and I'll show you in a separate video how you can actually plan for the type of budget you should really have for your ad. Like for example, for mine, for that one, it was $500. It wasn't just $5 a day. I knew what the total budget was, and because I knew that, when I spent $500 for several days, I actually started seeing some conversions come through, and after tweaking things a little bit, I actually started making an ROI on that. So it wasn't just $20 per day that I was working on that. It was a $500 budget entirely for the whole campaign, and I let it run for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then I got some information, and then I converted it, or I improved it to get some better conversions. So conversions is a very tricky one, but it has to be something you have to go through. You have to let the Facebook pixel do its thing, give it some time, hopefully get a few conversions, and then after that, it really cranks it out and starts giving you good stuff. Number 4 is the golden thing. When you start getting conversions, again, let's say I'm selling this book again, it's a $10 book. I'm starting to sell 10 to 15 a day, and I'm starting to make some money on this thing. The next thing I want to do is if I find out that I'm spending about $2 per conversion, and my conversion, again, I'm spending $2 and I'm making $10, so my net is $8, right? If I actually find out that I'm starting to reach a really nice audience from a specific group I'm targeting, or an interest I'm targeting or something, I can then create a campaign for traffic, which is right up here. And then instead of doing $2, I can create maybe a new campaign and run it at the same time, or just shut off the conversion campaign and run this traffic campaign. And I will manually bid on this same interest, same group that I'm targeting. I know I'm already making money there because I was getting those 10 to 15 conversions per day on it. But now I can tell Facebook I'm only going to spend 75 cents here, or $1, or whatever the number is. So again, I've done this before. You take that $2 conversion average number, and you know that it's working out, and you experiment saying, how much cheaper can I go? And with manual bidding, you'll be surprised. You can actually get like really cheap traffic for the same thing that you were working on in conversions. So that $2 conversion average, I can go to traffic, create a new campaign, and usually I would run at the same time because I can just set it on another campaign and run at the same time. And I will bid maybe $1 for that one and let it run out and see how it's working. And now instead of netting $8 for this, I could be netting $9 or even a little bit more for the same product. Same thing I was doing with conversions. I'm just making more money from it. So it's a fantastic thing, and it's like the very last thing you should be doing. You should always start off, the way I do it is always start off with an idea, the idea that I want to sell this book. I want to build some social proof with this by getting some likes, some comments, some shares from people around the world who are interested in this. And they might not be ready to buy, but I'm paying for people to say this is a good thing. And then I'll set up a campaign for conversions. And then once that works out, and I sold maybe like 100 of these things in a week, then I'll set up one for traffic, on the side, and I'll see if that can work out too. So this is my process that I do every single time. Again, I don't do too much e-commerce, but I gave you an example about selling this red book. So same thing that goes with leads, like start off with an idea, give something away, whether it's a PDF or a video or something, build momentum on it by adding social proof with PPE, then set up a campaign for conversions. And with that one, it's going to be for leads. You're going to optimize for leads. And then once you see that it might be working out maybe $1.50 per conversion, create a new campaign for traffic, do everything the same, like as far as the targeting and everything, and just experiment by doing $1 for traffic, and now you're going to be probably saving 50 cents if everything works out well. One last tip for this video is when you do traffic and you really want to see if it works out well for you, or if you're not getting much traffic in the first place and it's not doing too much. I've done, on the ad you can do accelerated traffic, and it works out really well. So what happens is that whenever you're doing PPE conversion traffic, you're pretty much in a pool of people who are advertising, and right here we're pretty much in a pool of people who are advertising. So if you're not the highest bidder, you're not going to get the traffic. But what happens is when you set it up on accelerated, your exposure is just so much higher. So that way, you're spending your money much quicker, and you're more likely to get a little bit of traffic than if you weren't going to get any at all from the manual bidding, but just spreading it out over the day or the week. I hope that made sense. But basically, I just if I go 4 or 5 days, or even like 2 days, and I get no traffic at all, I will put on accelerated ad, and if I do it at 8 in the morning, by like 3 or 4 p.m., after the ad gets approved, by several hours after, I will start seeing a little bit of traffic. So it's a really funny thing, and it's a really cool way to test out the traffic, to get some traffic even if you're not getting it right away. Turn that accelerated traffic on and see if that works for you. But in the end, this is setting up a new Facebook ad the right way. I do this every time. 99% it's always for leads. I tried it out a few times with e-commerce, and it worked out pretty well there too. But create the idea, set up the PPE for social proof, create the ad, a new campaign for conversions. I'll show you how to transfer over that social proof to conversion ad in another video. And then once the conversion is really working, you let it run if you want to. But if you want to make more money out of it, so you can go more than breaking even and make it really profitable, create a new ad for traffic and really build some momentum there. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Like it if you enjoyed it, and make sure you write a comment so I can see if you have any questions on this one, and if you'd like to get a future video. If you want to see a future video on something specific, just write a comment and I'll be happy to make one. Okay, thank you, and talk to you soon.